2 days till we get married. We picked up my dress today. I dropped the train on the floor and stood on it. So we spent the whole afternoon wiping a footprint off it. George got a nice little trim. And we skipped off to McDonald's, had a lovely little lunch before heading over to St. David's Hotel. First time here. We went to the spa. I read my little bookie book. We tried this little pool out, very, very deep. This little one was very, very bubbly. Lovely little time there. Then it was time to see our room. We got upgraded to a junior suite because Jordan's a member. We didn't know that till we got here, but win-win. This suite was actually probably bigger than our living room and our downstairs. We did the obligatory bed jump. We had a little nappy nap, and then it was time for dinner. We had a lovely little pasta and a fish and chips, delicious. And then we had a little bit of ice cream, which was very, very lovely, before we headed back to the room and saw the nice little sunset. Woohoo! So we get married tomorrow. Off we head for breakfast in the lovely hotel. And then it's time to pack the car and take the decks up to the golf club. Jordan was conveniently busy the whole time I was packing the car, so that was a one-man job. Here are all the balloons, woo! And we're at the golf club. And here he comes, finally arriving to give me a helping hand. Is this what married life's about? Who knows? We then went home and packed our cases because we're going to America on Sunday. Then we had a little pre-pint at the pub before we had a lovely meal with all our nearest and dearest in Paletta's, best Italian restaurant in Barry Island. And then we had our little jammies ready for the morning and watched Encanto with the girls. Had a little sing-along version. I knew all the words.
Here we go, off to Heathrow before heading off to Miami, Florida. Here we are on the plane, giving you a little cheeky smile, and bam, we're in Miami. Wow, if only it was actually that quick. We arrived quite late, so we went to Pico Taco and had some lovely little tacos. As you can tell, I have no voice, so we went to CVS and got me this horrific medicine. And then bam, it's the morning. We went to the beach, which is a really short walk from the hotel. Lovely. We might do a run down here. Obviously, we're CrossFit girlies, so we had to have a little mess around on the bar. We went to the Windward Walls Museum today. Some lovely little bits of art there. Some interactive as well. Chloe's showing us here on her phone. Quite cool. Took a little stroll before we got an Uber because we ended up somewhere a little bit creepy. Had a nice little pizza and a Philly cheese steak for lunch before a celeb boat tour. Lovely little music in Havana and some Cuban sandwiches before we went off to bed.
Today's excursion is the Everglades. And oh no, we forgot our hats. Here we are. Boom. Lovely transition there with our Everglades hats. It was lovely. We saw about 7 gators. Here's one just chilling. And then we went to the Cheesecake Factory. Big portions. We had lunch portions and still so full. We did a little bit of retail therapy afterwards and then headed towards the beach for a nice little walk and to dip our toes in the water. Then off to Ocean Drive, where we had a lovely meal and ended the night with some lovely drinks. We started off today with a nice little run down Miami Beach. George repping running on empty before heading off to Chili's, where we stuffed the last bit of garlic bread in, did a little of look around the bayside before setting sail on Virgin Voyages. This is our first time on Virgin Voyages. So exciting. It's all good vibes. Everything's paid through a little card on your hand. It's really cool, on our little wristband. This is us saying goodbye to Miami. We will see you in 4 days. Chloe's our neighbour. We watched our safety video and then headed to the pool party. Here we are, dancing to Pitbull probably. Then we went to Pink Agave. We had some lovely dinner, lots of food. They are feeders on this boat. Nice little dessert before going to a pyjama party this evening. We didn't win best pyjamas, which is a shame because we looked great, but I am very much looking forward to tomorrow. Day 2 of the cruise, and we have a sea day. So this morning, me and Chloe did a HIIT class and went for a tiny little run. We had some nice breakfast in the galley and some bao buns up top deck, played a board game, did some quizzes, and then we went to Test Kitchen. We had eel here and then scallops for our first 2 courses. not a bit of me. I'm not a fish girl. Didn't really enjoy those. Then this was a cheese dish, delicious. We had some chicken, really, really nice. And then the best dish of all was a little meringue at the end. Lovely. It's Scarlet Night, so the boat's nice and red. Alex did a bit of Elvis on karaoke and Joe did some Smooth Operator before we headed on to the pool party. Some cool dancing here, everyone. These are the moons. Some little splashing. We all got wet and then bam, we're in the pool. Of course, me and Chloe first one's in. We love a little bit of water. Everyone's vibing, good fun. Chloe then goes home with Alex and I'm just vibing in the pool. Joe won't get in there, but then we go home and had a lovely evening. Today we docked at Key West, and first thing we did was get a hop on hop off trolley ticket, and we got to drive past this really cool Hard Rock Cafe. We then went to some piers, which were nice. We saw the southmost point as well, before going to a butterfly farm, which had flamingos and also tortoises. George then had a famous key lime pie, which he loved, and we did a mooch around the shops before getting back on the boat. Had some lunch in the galley, played shuffleboard. George won. Here's my great go. Wow. Did some shopping before dinner. We had food at Extra Virgin, which is like a pasta place. Delicious. Then we went to see some shows in the Red Room. So it was an a cappella group. And went clubbing then in the nightclub with this little nice performance. It's really choppy water, so we hope we sleep well. We started our last full day on the boat in Bimini with some nice breakfast. And then we went to the Virgin Voyages Beach Club. We had some nice lounges by the pool, which was really close to the beach. So we did a little bit of swimming. Then we had some lovely lunch and then some reading while the boys played some volleyball. There was some nice little dance performances going on by the pool. We went swimming actually in the sea. It was so lush. Before then leaving Bimini, we then went to the Wake on the boat, which was a nice steak restaurant. Had lovely food before playing the quiz, which we definitely should have won. We came second because of rock, paper, scissors. We put in a good shift and we feel like winners at heart. I love Virgin Voyages. 10 out of 10 recommend. Would do again. Today was the day we were disembarking the boat, so we had to spend a full day in Miami before our flight to Vegas. We went to the Dolphin Mall, did a little bit of retail therapy, and did some bowling just to kill some time. We then flew to Vegas, and we're staying at the Venetian, which is glorious. It's a really long walk to our room, our little king suite. It's massive. There's 2 tallies. But here's like a little quick tour of it. Very lovely. Nicest place we've stayed, even if it is miles away. We had some wings and now we're off to bed because it feels like it's 3 a.m. We started our morning off with a Denny's before the boys went off to WWE World, and Chloe and I went to an art museum. Loads of interactive art. We got to draw these pictures and then they turned into art on the screens, which was awesome. Paid $5 for this green and lavender tea, which were horrific. And then went to Circus and saw Sergio do a triple backflip. We then went to Fat Sal's for some burgers, which were lovely. Saw the Golden Nugget, did some gambling, and we won $7 before we did a zip line down Fremont Street. We'll have videos of that back tomorrow. And now we're in bed ready to get hitched by Elvis tomorrow. Yay! Wilson Wedding 2.0. We are here in Vegas in the Venetian getting ready for our wedding at the Little White Wedding Chapel. We got an Uber down there and signed in when we got there. They give you this cool little flag and you're just waving in the car park until Elvis comes to pick you up. We filmed some content while we were waiting. It was really, really warm. But that was fun. And then here's Elvis taking us into the chapel, and when we get in there he sang us some songs. We'll have a video of that coming. And then we went on to Fremont Street and had some pictures, also really warm, before heading to Evil Pie for some pizza. Delicious. We fed each other pizza because that's cute. They sell it by the slice. would recommend. Very, very nice. We then went off to Fremont Street and did some games. I won the basketball as per usual. We played some pinball, some ice hockey, air hockey. Me and Chloe did the dance mat. Then we went on to Circa to do some gambling. Here you can see, whoa, all shocked, won quite big. I bet $3 and I won £150. Dollars. Here I am collecting my winnings, and I did not gamble it all again. I kept it and it paid for dinner. And here's George vibing. And we went to the Neon Lights Museum next, which was nice. We liked the Hard Rock Cafe, so that was cute. We saw the Bellagio fountains, my fave, and then had a nice little Mexican to end a lovely, lovely day. Today's our last full day in Vegas. We are exhausted and I forgot to film loads today, but we started off with a dip in the pool in the Venetian this morning and then went to Mandalay Bay Shark Reef. Well, actually we went to the Vegas sign first, but I forgot to take any videos. The Shark Reef was fun. We then went to play in the Luxor, which is like an adult playground where you just play loads of games. Really good fun. Very funny. Very funny. See, I'm exhausted. You could bounce in the bounce house. We then went to Dick's Last Resort for lunch and they gave us these funny hats. They basically mean to you. It's good. We then went to see O in the Bellagio, which again, forgot to film anything for that. So there was our little O's. We watched the fountains in the Bellagio outside afterwards. And then we went to Carmine's for pasta, which was nice. Also forgot to film that. But it's family-sized portions, so we had enough pasta to feed a family of 4. We are not a family of 4. So great day. Half a day tomorrow and then home, and we can't wait to sleep for 2 full days. Today we're going home, so we started with cake in bed before leaving the hotel. We then went down to have a gondola ride. The guy sang to us, Normando, he was lovely. Then we went to Chick-fil-A for lunch, which was delicious. And then, wow, spontaneous, we went to get a tattoo down in downtown Vegas. I went first. Here I am lying on the bed, getting all tatted up. And then it was Jordan's turn, and super duper cute. We got matching tattoos. We both handled it well, I think. Here they are, all cling filmed up. We've got to keep that on until we get home. George didn't have tape, so we bought him some stickers. We then had some strawberries and chocolate to keep me going. We watched some of the NFL draft and then had some dinner in the airport. Bye.